Hey everybody, this is Eric Morrow, IGN Movies Editor-in-Chief.
I'm Todd Gilchrist, IGN Movies Senior Editor.
And we're here today to talk to you about Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
You'll have to do better than that.
In The Clone Wars, audiences can expect to see all the usual characters from the prequel trilogy. However, the film really does focus on Anakin Skywalker and his new Padawan Ahsoka as they're tasked with rescuing Jabba the Hutt's son from a mysterious kidnapper. So Todd, what I understand is that the film The Clone Wars is stemmed from an ongoing TV series that's launching in the fall on Cartoon Network. How do you think it fares up on the big screen?
Well, I joked after I saw it that I felt like for a movie it made a pretty great TV series.
And what exactly does that mean?
Basically that it feels like a series of 3 episodes that have sort of been connected together, but it doesn't necessarily feel like a story that demands to be seen on the big screen. Because it was sort of created from an early story arc for the series, it actually has 3 mini arcs within its overall story, but what that ultimately does as a film is make it feel smaller than the prequel trilogy or even the original trilogy in terms of the scope and sort of importance of what happens.
Ascend to cables!
I'm right behind you, Master!
So obviously, as you can see, the film is a CG animated piece, and Lucas actually created a division of his company to handle this kind of project moving forward. I think the big problem I had with it is I'm so used to the Pixar style of CG animation that it's hard for me to wrap my head around this look. But what did you think?
Well, I agree that there's a certain, again, smallness to it that makes it feel more like it's suited to the small screen than it is to movies, and it certainly doesn't, I think, match up with the fluidity of movies like WALL-E or even Shrek or something like that. But at the same time, I think one of its strengths is the literal painterly quality of a lot of the images, in the sense that the characters look like maquettes that have been hand painted and come to life, which I think a lot of people probably haven't noticed in the trailers and the clips. But when they actually see it on the big screen, if they're lucky enough to see it in digital projection, it'll be something that I think will really distinguish the movie. And I think that it's actually one of its strengths, even if, again, some of the action and stuff is maybe a little stiff and not quite as effortless as the stuff we've seen in other animated movies.
So let's get down to the nitty-gritty here, how this fits into the mythology. I'm a huge, huge fan of the Star Wars universe. I pretty much have the encyclopedia memorized. I have my thoughts on it, but how do you think it fits into the kind of mythology that Lucas has created?
Well, I definitely feel like there's a legitimate criticism out there that there's a certain redundancy to exploring the Clone Wars because it takes place between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, which means that we know exactly where it's supposed to end. But at the same time, I think the series itself is a great opportunity for fans to see their favorite characters, their little peripheral heroes and villains that they're fans of, explored in a more in-depth way. And I think that even though that may not lend itself to a great cinematic experience, I do think it sort of has a lot of potential as a TV series to sort of bring to life these like peripheral characters that we love or are our favorites.
So as the editor who's providing the official IGN Movies review for the film, out of our 5-star system, what rating would you give it?
Well, I'd definitely give it a 2.5 stars out of 5. I think that it's technically and artistically proficient, but I don't think that it's a superlative effort. And again, it's just not quite epic or big enough to really succeed on the big screen, even if as a TV series it's a pretty promising start.
We got to make the jump to hyperspace, but for more on Star Wars: The Clone Wars and for all of IGN Movies offerings, go to movies.ign.com.